Hi, this is Fred Barstein. Welcome to my Fred Talk series on the top 10 most common misconceptions about the fiduciary responsibility by 401k and 403b plan sponsors. So the second one in the series is the misconception that cheapest is always better, and that you as a plan sponsor has to choose the low cost provider. So let's just review quickly what your fiduciary responsibility is under ERISA, which is the highest liability, fiduciary liability known to law in the world. So to simplify, the plan has to be designed in the sole interest of the participants. The fees have to be reasonable. You have to use a documented, prudent process, and you have to act as a prudent expert, which most plan sponsors outsource and use vendors, providers, and record keepers to help them to do that. So let's get into this misconception that cheapest is always better, and that you have to always take the low cost provider. So we'll talk about record keepers, we'll talk about advisors, and also funds. So the first thing is that the costs have to be reasonable, not cheap. And that fees in the absence of value always appear high. You judge your fees based on the services that you're getting, the quality of that service, and also the size of your organization, which determines your buying power. You know, an organization with 500 employees is not going to get as good a deal as someone with 5,000 or 50,000. So let's look at record keepers, and all record keepers are not created equal. There are different levels of service and quality with each one. They all, some of them will serve all markets. Some are just in the small market, the mid, or the large or mega market. So you want to make sure you're picking a record keeper that serves your plan size. And even within your plan size, with the same record keeper, there may be different services that you can get depending on what you're willing to pay, or even the plan and your account balances. So some of the big questions being asked about record keepers today are cybersecurity. That's becoming a huge issue, and you need to make sure that your record keeper has all the required technology and support to protect you and your employees and their accounts. And the other thing you need to be aware of with record keepers, there's industry consolidation. And it's going to continue, it's going to be massive, and you have to really look to see, is your record keeper really viable? And if they seem really cheap, maybe that's an issue, and they're not viable, and they're going to someday sell. So those are some of the things you want to ask with the record keeper. With your advisor, some of the questions is their level of experience, the number of years they've been in the DC business, the number of plans, and the assets. For advisors that get their CKP or Certified 401k professional training from TRAL, we require 10 plans, 3 years experience, and 30 million, which we think is a minimum requirement for an advisor to really help a plan sponsor like you. Then you want to know, is their experience relevant to your plan size, and if possible, even to your industry. If you're a doctor group, a lawyer group, a retail organization, a car dealership, if they have clients that are like you. And then finally, you want to know what services are they offering. Participant engagement, one-on-one, do they have that? Do they have experience doing that? Is that important to you to do? And are they willing to act as a co-fiduciary? And what does that really mean to you? And what are they going to do in terms of fiduciary review? And then finally, on the fund companies, we have this lemming move to index funds. passive funds, low-cost funds, and for some, it's for some good reason, but it's not like all funds are better because they're an index fund. There's really a lot of value, depending on the type of fund, to have an active manager. You want to look at not just fees, but you want to look at performance, and you want to look at the performance of that fund complex over a long period of time, because with retirement, you're investing and your time horizon is very long. And remember, with target dates, which is the most important investment in your lineup, target date funds, and is getting a vast majority of the assets, there's no such thing as a passive target date. Even if the ingredients and the underlying investments are indexed, someone has to do asset allocation actively. So in conclusion, the lesson is cheapest is not only not required, but it might not be the best. You need to make sure you're benchmarking your fees annually, that you're going to RFP for your record keeper every 3 to 5 years, your advisor maybe every 5 to 7 years, to make sure that your fees are reasonable. And remember to leverage the help and the experts out there, because even though you have to be a prudent expert, you can outsource a lot of that to third parties that do this for a living. So thanks for watching Fred Talk, and stay tuned for the remaining 8 most common misconceptions about fiduciary responsibilities by plan sponsors.